How you going, brothers, and the occasional sister watching? You can take your paw off there. I want to talk to you guys about a few fixes for a few problems that you might have, because that's what this channel is about. Pace, get in the back of the truck. You don't sit in the front. As soon as I start talking, see that? Give them an inch, you'll take a mile. Most of us can't change the genetic makeup that we've been born with, our mothers and our fathers. And quite often we'll find things about ourselves we don't particularly like, and we can't really change them because they're traits that we either inherited or we just picked up as we were being taught as we grew up. If we saw our mothers and fathers doing a particular thing, it grows up being our norm. So if you grew up in a family where there was violence as a norm, chances are it's going to become the norm in your life. And to break that pattern is very hard. But there's also other things that we can have, like families can have a hereditary suicide, a lot of suicides in a family. There can be a lot of anxiety in a family. There can be a lot of depression. Or there can be a lot of cancer, like there is in my family. You basically have to stick with the blueprint you've got and try and do the best with what you've got and around it, really. So there's a few things in this bag here that I buy for myself to keep myself on top. I'm going to tell you very quickly about my day today. My day started off trying to talk a man out of suicide. That was the beginning of my day. Only reason he didn't do it is because he couldn't find a hose. Another one was somebody that was really struggling with their university paper and had been 2 years and had come to his end. He was using barbiturates to keep awake at night to study, and now he's completely lost it, and he's lost his girlfriend, and he's right at the end of his rope. So I had 2 hours there. I also spent 2 hours with my own son, just working out what we're doing for the week, some family time, important. And I also spent an hour talking to a lovely young lady who I think she's got quite a bright future, who's doing an outdoor education course, and she's just got to find her niche. But she's probably was most positive one of the lot. A lot of empathy and a lot of honesty there. So in this bag here, I've got a few things that I use to help myself. One is this cheap. It's omega-3 in the form of a fish oil. Choose one that you know the fish aren't in a place in the world where it's contaminated. Just about virtually impossible to find that place, but do your research. Not an absolute must. If you're over 40 years of age, this is an absolute must. CoQ10. CoQ10 is an enzyme. This is the most taken. It's not a supplement. It's an enzyme. It's the most taken supplement in Japan because they know the secret. After the age of 40, we stop producing that. Very good for your heart. If I don't take this stuff, I take one pill a day. If I don't take that, I notice my heart struggling when I put it under pressure, and periodically I put it under pressure. So CoQ10, very good. If you are not seeing a lot of sunlight hours, vitamin D is a must for your immune system. Have it with food. This has got K2 with it. K2 will help stop the calcification which vitamin D can cause in your arteries. So we need to have cholesterol. Forget about what the doctors tell you. You need to have cholesterol and you need to have vitamin D. Vitamin D is the best for your immune system. It's like they have found with COVID-19, this is factual, you can do your research on this, that people with higher doses of natural vitamin D or even taking like this have a much better chance of combating or not even getting it. So that's one of your great defense. I use it, I don't get sick. You see me every day doing stuff, I don't get sick. I should get sick because I should get sick for the past I've had and all the things, but I don't. And I put it down to that, but also put it down to maintaining my stress and getting sleep. And that brings me to the last one. REM sleep, which is basically magnesium. This is clinicians. Not getting paid anything for saying this. I'm just sharing this with you guys. So just focus on that so you can see it. This is the must have. Most of us lack magnesium, but this all has 5-HPT, which is very good for helping you sleep. So if you are somebody that suffers anxiety, before you start taking the Razapam or all those things which are not good for you, try taking 2 of these. You'll get 4 hours sleep and then pop another 2 in your mouth. You can take them every 4 hours and there's no adverse effect. In fact, it's good for you. You can sustainably take it. If you have anxiety and you do suffer from insomnia or even hypersomnia, which is when you sleep too much, getting a balance of magnesium is really important. I know it's all boring stuff, dog? $29.99. I bought this at the Mapua pharmacy, but your shop will have it. Clinicians is the best one I've used so far. Magnesium can cause dehydration, so make sure you drink plenty, and it can also cause diarrhea. So be careful on that. It doesn't give me diarrhea, but other ones do, and your body needs to get used to it. So build your dose up. This will help you sleep. It will relax your muscles. It will relax your entire body. So if you're a person that has anxiety, magnesium's an absolute must. It's probably one of the biggest things that we are missing in our nutrition. You can get it from food, but getting it like this here will assure that if you didn't get it from your food, it's like a backup, and your body will suck this all up. It will use it, believe me. And if you're doing a lot of exercise, you really need it. So if you get cramps through doing exercise, you need magnesium, and you also need potassium. You get potassium from vegetables, green leafy vegetables. We need plenty of those. But if you're a person that doesn't process green leafy vegetables like crucifix, what am I thinking? We're talking kale, silver beet, all the leafy green ones. What's another one that's common? Geez, I've gone a blank on that right now. Sorrel is another one. The ones with the darker leaves have a higher amount of potassium. If you don't process it that well, then try taking it in a form like that. I struggle to eat too much kale. Kale is one of those things you've got to blanch. Personally, only way I like kale was done in fat like chips, because I find it's like eating, it's just horrible. It's no fun at all, kale. It's all like in your mouth like bits of paper. So silver beet's another good one. Broccoli's good. You need to have your potassium. So this is what you can do to change the balance, the chemical balance, which affects this bit of jelly between your ears, which affects completely how you feel. Once you get your sleep cycle good, and believe me, this will help, give yourself a week on that. Once you get your sleep cycle good, then you can get your eating cycle good, and then you can get your exercise regime good. But it all starts with having good sleep. Sleep is the magic bullet. It fixes everything. Right, there's a quick few solutions to problems that I have found that I've shared with you guys. Think about making a video for the Bro Check Club. If you're a young person from the age of, say, I don't know, whether to 25, the best thing you can do in your life is cut out alcohol and any drugs. That includes all drugs and prescription drugs. If you're on a prescription drug, your doctors put you on it, good, stay on it. But in that time, use that time to address the problem of why you're taking it so you can get off it. Antidepressants, anti-anxiety, great if you're in a crisis point, but only see them as a temporary measure and find a solution to the problem. You might have to dig deep, it might be uncomfortable. Any form of drug is going to have an adverse effect. You cannot get away with it. It's hard on the liver, it's hard on the kidneys, it's hard on this bit of jelly between your ears. So try and be drug free if you can. If you're a person that's using marijuana to self-medicate to sleep and pain, I understand that. I know what it's like to have pain, but try to minimize it and try to do using something without the THC. If you're taking it for recreation or get stoned, ask yourself, is it really paying off? Because one thing that happens is it puts you on hold. I know a guy that started smoking when he's 21. He's my age now. I saw him the other day. He's still just like he was when he's 21. It stunts your emotional growth, stunts your mental growth, stunts your empathy, a whole lot of things, and also makes it very difficult for you to reach out to other people and get into your community. There is a place for it. If you're going to do drugs, do them after the age of 25, when your frontal lobe is developed, when the synapses have done everything that they're supposed to do. If you are using any sort of anti-anxiety drug like the ones that are on the market, just be aware that if prolonged use, your brain will start to grow new synapses. Because when you have anxiety, it's actually your brain trying to problem solve. It's keeping you awake at night to work something out. Sometimes you don't know what it is, or sometimes it's something that can't be worked out, but the brain will continue to fight this. If you take an anti-anxiety medication, your brain will start growing new synapses, and guess what? After a while, those drugs will no longer work, and you can also have all sorts of other adverse effects. So see anti-anxiety and antidepressants as a temporary measure. Now, there are people that are going to be clinically depressed their entire life, and I have friends that are, and the medication keeps them on track. That is fine if you cannot find the root cause and it is purely chemical, though I do believe that most things come from something that's happened, some trauma in childhood, or something that's even going right back to the very beginning. It could have been your mother was abused while you were in the womb, and it could be something deep-rooted that you cannot ever get to. But ideally, you want to try to be drug-free if you can. I also advocate using antidepressants during times of crisis in your life so you can get through and get yourself back on track. I advocate using any drug to get you. I've used drugs myself, painkillers, but try to see it as a temporary measure and a chance for you to find your equilibrium and then reassess your whole life and find out where the problem is and start working on that. And that can be uncomfortable, that can be painful, that can be no fun at all. We don't wake up one morning and go, I'm going to evolve today. What generally happens is a massive crisis comes in our life, and it forces us to reevaluate who we are, what we're doing, where we're going, and what we're really all about. And that's an opportunity, and that's a blessing. It's not a bad thing, it's a blessing. It's a chance for you to really get to the guts of who you are and be the best version of yourself you can be. The past is the past. It's not who you are today. Forget about it. Remember the bad things went wrong and revisit them, but don't dwell on them. Revisit them to remind yourself that you don't go backwards again. You're going forward. So the cogs can turn one way, but they can't turn back. So you're always going forward. Check on a brother. Check on a brother. Don't ask. Just go around and check on a brother. There's somebody in your world that you're concerned about that hasn't been acting as per normal. Go and check on them. I'm doing bro checks right now. I've been doing bro checks today. I had a few sister checks. Check on a brother. And if you're a sister watching this, go check on a sister. Because you women know how to talk to you woman. Just like us men know how to talk to us men. We don't quite... We start talking to each other. We get our signals a bit mixed up because we're wired a bit differently. That's why I just look after men and I leave the woman to the woman. And also that's why I call on men when I need help. And I sure do plenty of times. No man is an island. If one man breaks off, the continent is less fought. That's how the poem goes. Something like that. So let's look after our brothers so we can all look after ourselves. Go steady, and I'll see you in the next Bro Check Club. And consider making a video if you have a solution to a problem that you want to share for brothers. See you later. Right, I'm off down to check my houseboat and make sure that it's not leaking with all this rain. I've just met the chimney. That's where I'm sleeping tonight, so we'll see how we are. Hope we have a dry night. I'll see you later on.